Would you work 70 hours to 90 hours per week? Well, Indians work similar hours to emerging economies and much more than the developed nations. This is what a note by the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister is now saying that Indians work similar hours to other emerging economies and significantly more than the developed countries. This is the latest note from the EAC to the PM, written by the member of the EAC to PM, Dr Shamika Ravi. She states that the working more hours is also closely linked to higher per capita GDP. Well, this finding comes at a time when there is a growing debate in the country over the ideal number of working hours. This particular note says that urban Indians in regular jobs at both private and public limited companies work the most number of hours. It also says that government employees work fewer hours than the average Indians and significantly lesser than the employees of private and public limited companies. The recent statement of L&T Chairman S.N. Subramaniam that working hours can extend to 90 hours per week and employees can also work Sundays rather than staring at their wives at home has triggered a big debate. NRN Narayanamurthy had earlier also highlighted the importance of working 70 hours a week, sharing his own experience at the Infosys. Well, Dr. Shamika Ravi has analyzed the nationally representative time use survey conducted by the Government of India in 2019, and she has concluded that she finds that 1% more time spent on employment-related activity is positively associated with the higher 1.7% per capita NSDP. This relationship is stronger and more robust for large states of India at 3.7% increase in NSDP than small states and UTs where it translates to 1.8% increase in NSDP. This implies that if people in a state spend 1% more time on economic activities, then the state's NSDP or its growth will rise by 1.7%. The EAC to PM note says that the overall results indicate that while India is comparable to other emerging economies of the world in the term of number of daily working hours, it is also true that major economic gains can be made by increasing time on employment-related activities. There are shorter work hours in the northeastern states and in the government sector. This is what this note is now saying. This is particularly relevant for the states, like I mentioned, the northeastern states and sectors like the government sector, where people in India work significantly shorter hours per day compared to the rest of the country. The note has looked at the data also to check how many people meet the benchmark of 700 minutes per day or 70 hours per week across the states of India. The results presented say that Gujarat has the largest proportion of people at 7.21% who work for more than 70 hours per week, while Bihar has the lowest proportion of 1.05% such people. The results show that on an average, a person working in the government spends about 45 minutes less on work each day than an average Indian, and he works almost an hour less compared to a person working in the private or the public limited companies. Workers in private and public limited companies in fact spend more time working. On the whole, people working in companies are spending one more hour working each day compared to the government employees. A main finding of this note is also that on an average, Indians spend about 422 minutes per day on paid economic activities or 42 hours per week, assuming a 6-day week, which is significantly lower than the 700 minutes per day or the 70 hours per week benchmark expectation being set. However, comparing this across countries, Indians report working hours which are comparable to other fast developing countries like Vietnam, China, Malaysia, Philippines, while most developed OECD countries report much lower working hours at just 33 hours per week on an average for the OECD group. India is comparable to other emerging economies in the terms of daily working hours worked, which is significantly higher than the average number of hours worked in developed or rich economies.